Sometimes the world doesn't need to change. Sometimes you do. And until you see it, nothing else will shift. One rainy night, a single sentence changed his entire life. This is that story. Rain poured over the city, like the sky was releasing all its pain. Arman sat frozen on the park bench, coat soaked through, hair dripping. The glow of city lights blurred through the tears in his eyes. His career was gone. His savings? Almost empty. His confidence? Shattered. Another email on his phone. Another rejection. Every message started the same way. "We regret to inform you." Across the park, something unusual caught his eye. An old man sat calmly on a bench, reading a small leather-bound book, completely unfazed by the rain. Everyone else had run for shelter, but this man, it was like the storm didn't exist. Their eyes met for a moment. The old man closed his book, smiled faintly, and said something that sliced through Arman's hopelessness like lightning. "Your life won't change until you change the way you see it." Arman frowned. "What do you mean by that?" The old man walked over, sat beside him, and asked, "You think life will get better when your problems disappear?" "Well, yes. Once I get a job, once I have stability, things will be better," Arman replied. The old man shook his head gently. "That's your mistake. The world doesn't change when your circumstances change. It changes when you change. Every problem is a mirror, showing you what you need to become." "A mirror?" Arman asked, confused. "Life will keep repeating the same lessons until you learn them. Rejection, failure, heartbreak. They're not punishments. They're lessons," the man said calmly. Arman's chest tightened. "But it hurts. Every failure feels like proof that I'm not good enough." "It only feels like proof because of the way you see it. Change the way you see it, and the same failure becomes fuel for your growth," the old man replied. The rain softened to a drizzle. The man stood, placed his leather-bound book on the bench beside Arman, and said, "Read this when you're ready." Before Arman could respond, the man walked away into the mist. That night, Arman sat in his dimly lit apartment. His small desk was cluttered with unpaid bills. He stared at the book for hours before finally opening it. Inside, there were no fancy designs, just handwritten pages with short thoughts, small stories, and simple steps. The first page read, "Day 1. Before you try to change your life, change your morning." Arman almost laughed. "Change my morning? That's it?" But something inside him whispered to try. The next morning, he woke up an hour earlier. No phone, no social media, no distractions. He made coffee, sat by the window, and wrote 3 things he was grateful for. 1. A roof over my head. 2. The coffee in my hand. 3. The stranger who gave me this book. That third one made him smile for the first time in months. Days turned into weeks. He kept reading 1 page a day. The book taught him to shift his perspective, to see problems as teachers, not enemies. Rejection still came. But instead of breaking down, Arman asked, "What can I learn from this?" Some days were hard. Some mornings he wanted to stay in bed. But each time he pushed through, his old mindset weakened. Months passed. Arman walked into an interview for a job he once thought he wasn't good enough for. This time, he wasn't desperate. He was confident, calm, focused on what he could offer. A week later, an email arrived. It didn't start with, "We regret to inform you." It said, "We were impressed by your persistence and attitude. We'd like to offer you the position." Arman stared at the screen, heart pounding. This wasn't luck. This was every single morning he chose to see life differently. Years later, Arman's life looked completely different. But he never forgot that rainy night. One evening, he walked through the same park. The same worn bench was there. And there, sat a young man, head in his hands, shoulders heavy with hopelessness. Arman walked over, sat beside him, and after a moment of silence said softly, "Your life won't change until you change the way you see it." The young man looked up, confused. Arman smiled, pulled out the same leather-bound book, and placed it on the bench. "Read this when you're ready," he said, then stood and walked away into the golden evening light. This story teaches us that your circumstances don't define your future. Your mindset does. Change the way you see your struggles, and you change your life.